Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the episode. This is Damien L. Butler, the mentor you didn't know you had. Welcome to the journey. Party people, welcome to the ride. This is another segment of the journey with Damien L. Butler. How's everybody? Today, I have a little bit of a revelation. I found out that I might be the cause of my own problems. Me. I'm the reason why some of the things I want to do aren't happening. Me. Not anybody else. Not you. Not them. Me. I'm the problem? Wow. You might be your problem too. So it's not just me. Here's what I mean, and this is the revelation that I came to. I talk a lot about communicating, and building relationships and being accountable to those relationships by action and communication. Apparently, sometimes when I say things, everybody doesn't get the message. Who knew? They did, I guess, not me. You may be the root of your problem. You are a root of all, not all. You're part of it. Definitely you. You're definitely part of it because every relationship and every situation you go into, there you are. So you got to take some accountability on that process. And I came to this conclusion recently after getting some feedback. But, it's part of the communication process. You got to listen. Listen twice. You got 2 ears, one mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk. And sometimes the answers will come to you. They'll be given to you when you go through that process. Sometimes you're not doing what you told yourself you're going to do. You're letting yourself down. You're not holding yourself, to the information you put on the paper, the goals you set for yourself. Sometimes it's a communication issue. Sometimes you got to slow down. And that communication process, as I learned it and as I continually teach it, you have the sender, the message, the receiver, and feedback. That feedback is key. If you don't get any feedback, you don't know that your message landed. And oftentimes we just put words out there, think everybody understands, and we can get things done. On the other side, the feedback starts with the messenger, or the sender, the message. Feedback. We got well, feedback comes the same way the message went. It's a loop. You got to have those pieces. You got to have the sender. You got to have the message. You got to have the receiver. You got to have the feedback. And when the feedback is coming now, the receiver is the sender. The feedback is the message. And now when you get it, you got to ask questions. You got to make sure everybody's on the same page. I learned a quote recently, and I thought it was very apropos. It fit for a lot of things. George Bernard Shaw said, the funny thing about communication is that people actually think it's happening. So you got to check in to make sure your point or your information is getting across so that you can do what you need to do so you can continue to be successful and you're not getting in your own way. On a team, communication is key. But even for you going on, a solo journey, people need to know where you are. You need to be able to read the surroundings. You jump in the car for a road trip, you got to be able to read the gauges and the indicators to tell you what's going on. You got to know when it's time to fill up the gas. Hopefully you've taken care of the oil before you go. You got four good tires on there with good amount of air. But if you don't, there's indicators to tell you they're sending you a message, and you get it, and you got to execute. And that may be what's happening, and why. Well, I'm not even going to put that on you. That is what's happening with me. I'm not paying attention to all the signals and the information and the messages that are being sent. As much as I believe that I am a effective communicator, sometimes I'm not. I want to give myself a grade. I would say I'm using the Lean Six Sigma plus or minus three. I'll take it. I'm about 97%, but somebody else may say I'm at 50% today. Communication is key, and understanding your part in it is going to help you continue to be successful and not be the problem, not be the reason why the process is slowing down or has stalled or isn't going at all. You know, a stall is one thing. You can recover from that. When it's not going, you got to get that momentum back and keep pushing. But maybe it's your fault because you stopped. So look inward and make sure that you are getting and receiving feedback, because that's a piece of the communication loop that often gets missed and causes people to be confused. Messenger, the message, sender, the message, feedback, receiver, feedback, sender, message, receiver, feedback, sender, message, receiver, feedback, feedback. Make sure the feedback is in there. It flips around. Don't be afraid to ask questions and say, hey, this doesn't make sense. How can I fix this? What do I need to do? Or do you understand what I need fixed? Get an affirmative, and sometimes ask them to repeat what you said. A lot of times on the field, I'll say, do you understand what I'm saying, or am I just saying words? And most kids aren't going to say you're just saying words, but there are those that do. I appreciate both, but it's important to seek feedback. And sometimes it's not going to be good. It's going to be a hard conversation, and everything you thought you were doing well, you're going to find out that you've been missing the mark. That's important, though. You need to get that information so that you can continue to be successful, and you're keeping on the straight and narrow. Those conversations, those tough conversations, that feedback is sharpening your soul. It's keeping you focused where you need to be. But pay attention to that, because sometimes it's you. You did this. I did it to me, and you did it to you. If you can avoid those things, success comes faster. But sometimes I'm the problem. And you can say that in the mirror, and it'll be true too. It's not just me. I'm not the only one. Probably the only one that's admitting it right now, but we can fix it. Sometimes it's you, and you need to tighten up. I need to go back through my notes, see what I wrote down, what I said I was going to do, and how see where I deviated and what happened, and get back on track. It's important. Reflection is critically important. Journal or diary, whichever word you want to use. Write it down so you can go see it later in your handwriting, so you can look back like, oh, I wrote that. I had an idea, I had a plan, and this was it. You can't avoid it 100%, but if you can avoid it less than you're doing now and realize that you can, improve the situation, do that. That way it won't be on you. You won't be the problem. You won't be the situation that everybody's trying to fix. Stick to it, reflect on it, and keep it pushing. Sometimes it's you that's in your own way. Day by day, I'm trying to get out of mind. I think I'm doing a decent job of it, but still need to check in. Because sometimes when I start paying attention to this area, I start to lack in that area. Then I have to balance it out. And good people around you help you balance it out. But do your part. Stop being your own biggest enemy. Be smart. That's it. That's all I got. I got some review, some more reflection and journaling to go through because I want to make sure I'm getting out of my own way. If we happen to cross paths, which if you're watching this, we're crossing paths, and I appreciate you coming this way. Let me know if I can help, because maybe helping you is going to help me. It's going to help me see some things that I've been doing. Kind of, maybe I can tighten up in that area, or maybe it'll help you. I give you some information that you didn't know you needed, or you need it, and you just hey, you ask for it. So if I can help, let me know. You know where to find me. I'm all over the socials at Damien L. Butler, at The Manifest One, at Pizza Laxon Leadership. Get it out of your way. I'll get out of my way, and we can clear the way together. Good people help you get to the top, but you got to do your part. Stop being your own worst enemy. See y'all soon.